Okay, guys, welcome to part two. I'm going to get into the account and talk about what went on with these trades. Okay, I did make mention that I wanted to place trades based on the current market movement of Thursday, which, look, guys, I'm doing this for an example and I see that this is in profit, but I'm going to close it because it made a decent amount. You got to remember the market's going to close in 2 hours. So this is just for the sake of example. And again, not everything profited. So that's another thing I want you to look at. But again, the market for the NASDAQ is really what is carrying this account. So all in all, I wouldn't really suggest that you do that. I just wanted to show you an example. I know some of you guys would look and be like, oh, look, you made profit, so let's do it. No, not all of them made profit. Now, will they make profit if you carry them on to the next? Yeah, but I don't want to look. One thing, now I'll talk about what I mentioned on the other one. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to carry current market movement over the weekend. Current market value, yes. Now, if for some reason the current market movement, I will say this, is following the pattern, in other words, if it's aligned with the current market value, well then, yeah, you could possibly do that, but don't make a habit of that. So that's the first thing I wanted to address and talk about. The next thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to answer a question. Now, I did get a question from our business counselor. If you guys don't know, if you haven't met our business counselor, TJ, I want you guys to go over there to the website, click on the 10 days free trial, and you're going to meet him. Okay. Very great guy, very dedicated. Honestly, I will say it, more dedicated than me in certain areas, especially when it comes to just hustle and grind. All right. But he'll be there to answer your questions. Contact them over there, guys. Contact us. If you have any questions, you can also go to our website, chat. We got help there as well. All right. So with all that being said, I will show the chart of the, in fact, no, it's not updated, so I can't show the chart. I just closed these trades. But I do want to show the chart when that time comes on the, probably at the end of this video. It should be updated by the time everything's done editing on this video. I'll have the chart and I'll show like a screen at the end of this video on where we're at with the growth of today, current market movement. So let's go into the thing I said I was going to do with the questions I did get from the business counselor. And let's see if I could find the question. And it was from one of our members. And it was a very good question. Very, very good question, actually. And I believe I did find the question. All right. I just rather probably look at it this way. Bear with me, guys. All right. So the question had to do, okay. Very good question. All right. Okay. And there we go. All right. So we got a question from one of our members. And the question was, it said, this is how it read. Thank you. I have bought the Easy Forex ebook somewhere in April this year. And I noticed the recent videos that the strategy to evaluate the trend for CMV and CMM is different now. Previously, it was using Heikin-Ashi and line chart. Would like to confirm if this is still the strategy that Gabriel is using. That's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful question, guys. Here. Understand this, the strategy that's in the ebook. I'll start off by saying this. The overall strategy is called the Forex Helper strategy. That's what it's called, the Forex Helper strategy. But when you dissect and look into the Forex helper strategy, you're going to notice that there are different components to it. Okay, so there are three major components. Then I'll break it down into the minor components. All right, so the Forex helper strategy, which is the head of it all, is broken up into three major components. What are those three major components? Number one, there's a component called the true value. There's another component called current market value. And then there's one final component called current market movement. Okay. Now, let's talk about true value. Now, the true value is really what you're finding in the ebook. Now, true value would constitute as long term. Now, this is longer term, if you want to use that word, longer term. This is something that you'll hold on traditional investing. Okay. You could do the same thing with the Forex, like you could do in the stock market. When you hold on to a stock for 5 years, that would be considered true value. But I'm not telling you guys to hold on to anything for 5 years. Now, the true value that comprises of the Forex helper strategy that you find in the ebook has the true value, which is broken up into two smaller components, which is current market value. I'm sorry, true value is actually broken up to one component, which is a current market value. That current market value is what's taught in the ebook. So 90 days, you will take that trade and you will hold on to that trade and you'll make your profit, and you will make your profit within 60 to 90 days. 60 to 90 days. Okay. So with that being said, when you make your profit within 60 to 90 days, you're actually holding on to something called the true value. But in this case, it is the current market value that belongs to the true value of that asset. But in this example, let me just talk about current market value. I just wanted to break down the components to you. All right. So the current market value that you find in the ebook, you hold on to that. You're going to use Hakanashi with that. You're going to use the line chart. You're going to use these tools to determine that. Different tools determine different aspects of current market value and current market movement. Okay, so now let's move on to the next level, the second main component, which is current market value. I don't want you to get confused with current market value that belongs to the. I'll have a chart for you guys next time I talk about this. So I'm just talking about it. I know it's going to be a little bit hard to visualize it, but bear with me. So current market value as the second component. Let's move on now. We're not talking about the true value and the current market value that's related to the true value of an asset. Now let's go on to current market value. Now, current market value, which is the second component of the Forex helper strategy, has two minor components within itself. Those minor components within itself is simply titled, again, current market value and current market movement. Now, within that, I talk about current market movement in the ebook, and that's the current market movement within that component that you get in the ebook. Okay, so the current market value within the second major component of the strategy is something that is taught in the higher education aspect of the Forex helper strategy. Bear with me now. I'm going to give you some illustrations so you can better understand. Now let's go to the third last component. The third last component has to do with the third last component is titled current market movement, but that's broken down into current market movement, a different kind of current market movement. I'm just giving you the name. And then also one other aspect of it, which has to do with execution. Okay, it's the execution format of it, and it gets a little smaller in the window. All right, those elements, Element number 1 from the second component of the major strategy is what's taught in higher education. And then those 2 components within the last third component is also taught in higher education. None of those, so there's a total of 3 that are only taught in the higher education of the Forex Helper strategy. So now let me give you a better example without all the technical stuff that I just rambled on. Okay. In fact, before I even go there, let me show you a visual of the question actually, and the answer to the question. That's what I should have done. Okay. Here is the visual of that question. Okay. Of the answer, I should say. So I talked about the 3 components there. There goes here. I'll read it. This is a great question. The Forex Helper strategy has 3 levels to it. True value, CMV, and CMM. I told you guys that already. Those are the 3 components. Okay. But here now on CMV, I told you guys has 2 additional levels within itself, and CMM has 2 additional levels within himself. Okay. The 2 levels within CMM is what you guys see me do on the daily financial market report. That's what I showed in the earlier videos this week on Monday, actually, on the chart. And the CMV, the 1 component or the 1 level within itself is what's taught, again, in higher education. But then there's another one that's given in the ebook. Okay. So then I went on to say this. The current market value strategy that is taught in the ebook is only 1 level of CMV. I did explain all that. But here. Here, let me just explain it without reading all of this. It has to do with education, guys. So the example that I give is this. It's like if you go to school and you want to learn something. So the education that you get from the ebook is from the elementary to, say, high school, depending on what you do with it. But mainly the elementary level of everything, elementary, junior high, let's just say that. Now, once you join our network and you get access to the archives and you start to learn all the other stuff that I've been teaching for the past 2 years that have been archived now, then guess what? You're moving up further in your understanding, following the signals, now finding out where you fit into this. That's a very important part of this strategy. Is you. Where do you fit in? What's your risk appetite? What strategy are you willing to go with? All these other factors. Okay? That cannot be given from my standpoint. That's something that has to come from you as an investor, utilizing the resources that we provide, that we have. Okay? So that's something that, okay, just want to make sure. That's something that, that's something that you will play a part in. You must play a part in. This is a 2-way street here. I'm doing my part to help you do your part, and vice versa. Okay? Now, if you find some other program out there with the prices that we give and the help that we give and the accuracy that we give, well, tell me about it. I probably would like to join too. Okay? But I haven't seen anything like that. All right. But I don't want to get into that part of it. Here is the point. Now, for you guys to want to know, because I got it. Some of you guys, I want to know it all. I want to do it on my own. I want to do, and that's great. But that's the university level, guys. That's the university level. Okay. And like you would with any other skill that you want to learn on your own, well, guess what? You're going to go learn, aren't you? You're going to go learn. You're going to step into a place of learning and just demand that they give you everything and boom, and don't pay. Because I guarantee me that they're going to charge you a leg and an arm. A leg and an arm. Okay, it's called tuition. Okay, that's what it's called. Okay, so listen, for the charge that we're giving to learn this, it's a good charge. You'll utilize this skill if you decide to do that, which is a one-on-one personal Forex mentorship. If you have the resources to pay for it, great. If not, you can achieve that if you go get into our program, get into the groove of things, start making money with the stuff that we're giving you, and then boom, you could reach that point with your resources and say, look, I put my money on the table, let's go. Let's do this. I've had people do that already, so I know it's possible. So let's definitely get on to that point. Let's get on to that mark, and that's how all this works, guys. One last thing I do want to talk about is the storm of current market value. Guys, if you're taking current market value the first week, especially if you're in a market like this, you take current market value now, you're probably going to be, some of you guys are probably going to shake your pants. You got to try to get used to that, the storm. Okay. We're not going to overburden your account. Don't overburden your account to the point where you're going to drop into the ocean, like I explained in my ebook, and fall into the sharks and lose your whole cargo. All right. Or if you're in a boat and you see the storm and you got all your cargo and you overloaded your vessel and now the water's coming in and you're about to sink, don't overburden your account. Don't overpurchase. Keep your margin level percentage above 1,000% or above. If you do that, you will never, ever, 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 ever blow your account. Ever, never, ever. Okay? Do that. You'll be safe. And I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Guys, if you have any questions, you know what to do. Contact us. Talk to our business counselor. We got a great business counselor, guys. It's going to help you out. Talk to anybody there at the Forex Helper LLC. We're going to be here to help you guys. So I'll see you in the next time. Have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.